Hello, everyone. This is Sherry Wyatt from the State Office of Rural Health. It's great to have you today. Our webinar discussion topics will be an introduction to the topics and introduction to some of the new staff members here at the State Office of Rural Health. We'll also talk about the SHIP project completion report. We'll talk about the upcoming SHIP application and deadline. There's some dates tentatively set. We'll also talk about the SHIP unobligated funds from some previous funding cycles that I have determined, and we'll talk about the consequences for that, and also possible unobligated funds project. So welcome, great to have you today. The State Office of Rural Health has recently hired Trent Ingledow as our state director. And I know he's very excited about being here. He will also, I'm sure, will be meeting many of you in some of the upcoming meetings. Julie, of course, is our Flex Grant coordinator for the Flex Grant. Lorena is the program officer for the SOAR and RCHIP grant programs. And I'm Sherry Wyatt. I manage the SIP, the Capital Improvement Program, and the SHIP grant programs. A little bit about me. In the past, I was the distance education and telehealth specialist at a telecommunications engineering firm here in Texas. And in that position, I organized, I engineered, and implemented two-way interactive distance education and telehealth systems in rural Texas. Most of our clients were in rural counties all across Texas. When I would work with the entities, as you know, there's limited money and funds, so I began to write and obtain federal grants, and I was a project manager for several of those federal grants from USDA, U.S. Commerce, and from the NTIA program. Later, I was hired by the U.S. Department of Commerce as a federal program officer for the area of health grant projects, and this was a nationwide innovative grant program that funded telecommunication and health-related projects. I administered all aspects of the grant process from applications, receiving applications clear to monitoring, and the applications and the grant recipients for compliance. I'm married. I have twin boys aged 17, and I enjoy living in rural Texas. I live in Page, Texas, which is in Bastrop County. Now let's talk about the project completion report that you will be completing. First of all, this project completion report for the SHIP projects is due April 12th, 2017. Hopefully you're working on your projects. We're about midway through the grant cycle. So I'm sure many of you are getting some invoices and finishing up those projects. This project completion report will be online, and it's a fillable form. What you will need ahead of time is your executed grant contract that we sent to you all. You'll also need your invoices, your receipts, and then you'll also need your canceled checks, or however you paid, if you have your bank statements or canceled checks. You'll need those documents ahead of time before you can fill out the project completion report. It's very self-explanatory. The award this year is $8,358. That is the amount up to that amount that the state office has contracted you all with. So that is the amount that we will be paying up to. Of course, you're going to fill out your hospital name, your grant numbers found on your executed contract. It'll say something like SHIP -16-002, and you can find that on your executed contract on the first page. But you fill out this information. It's very self-explanatory: CEO, director, phone, etc. At part B is the project complete. Of course, your project's going to be complete as you send in your project completion report. Something new that is required this year is you will be sending in 1 to one, two, or three photos of the project for with this report. Please put it in a JPEG form or some type of a file, photo file, and send it in as part of your attachment. As you move on through, you can read this. This is the allowable funds, and you all can find that. This is your budget expenditure form. In SHIP, they have specific purchasing plan or purchasing budget. When you look at your executed contract, you have selected, back when you submitted the grant, you selected various ones through these three categories. So let's start with this scenario. Let's say that on your grant application, in your grant executed contract, you selected HCAPS, collecting training. So you selected that. Let's say that you also selected telemedicine mobile health installation equipment. These two were on your executed contract. These were the selections that you did. The grant amount from last year was originally $9,000. However, it was reduced, and the total that you have for this year is $8,358. So at this point, you would take half, and let's say you divided that amount. So you would have $4,179 here that you allotted, and $4,179 here. That adds up to this amount, and that is what will have to be the amount that the only amount that we can pay. So this is from your executed grant contract. And you allocated half and half. Some people may have only selected one, and you will have the total amount here. But I just wanted to show you, you can, however it's stated on your executed contract is what you need to put in these sections. Some grant recipients may have divided them in thirds, and you would have it divided into thirds. The next thing that you do is you get your invoices. So in this section, let's suppose you have your invoice number. You've purchased products for your training, and your first invoice number is 45. Here, you look on your invoice. The date of your invoice, let's say that it was September the 12th. You then find your canceled check, and this is enter the number of the canceled check, the bank statement or the cashier's check that was used to pay for this invoice. And so you look on your canceled check and you find that it's number 9001. On that same canceled check, you found that you paid it on October the 3rd. So that shows the invoice date, the canceled check for the invoice, and the date the canceled check was completed. On this invoice, you had, this was to a vendor, and they charged you, on the invoice, it is let's say $4,000, make it easy. It's $4,000. This then is what shows that you want reimbursement for this invoice. Now the invoice may be, you may have several vendors and you have an invoice for several other things on that. Select only the item that's for the HCAPS if that's what you are purchasing. And then you do the same thing with this section. You bought some type of equipment, telehealth mobile equipment. You get your invoice, it's number 789. You paid for it the date of that invoice was October 11th. The payment, the canceled check number you had was 9002, and the date of that payment was the 25th. The invoice 789, the actual amount you pay that was charged to you for this was the full price of $4,179. Okay. You now have, and you've purchased that. You've paid for it. This is allotted to this grant. Your total that you're asking us to send to you, your request for reimbursement is $8,170, and that is the check, or that's the direct deposit that we will be sending you once we've approved all of the invoices and payments. So that is how you will fill it out. If you have any questions, you're welcome to give me a call. And I can help you fill this out, but it's pretty self-explanatory. One of the things I do want to show you, if you had 2 invoices for this, you can add another line, and you can select that. And so if you have several invoices, you can just continue to add the invoices related to those purchasing categories. After you've completed that, you need to save it. I think it shows up here. Yeah, when you get it online, and I'll be emailing and putting this on our website. You need to save a copy. You can save a copy of it and then print it and sign it. After that, you may scan your documents, include the invoice, the canceled checks, and this form. Make sure you've signed it and dated it, and along with the photo file, you can scan that and email that to our office. All right, and if you have any questions, please feel free to call me. Now let's move on. The next grant round, the 2017-18 SHIP application and deadline, I've been in conversation with the HRSA program officer. It's tentatively set. The notice of availability will be coming to our office probably around December 2nd. The application for hospitals will be January 5th. So start thinking about what you want to buy off that purchasing, what you want to spend the money for off that purchasing menu. Please try to get it in quickly. It's a very simple application. It's, of course, a no matching funds. So if you send in the application, you're going to get the money. It would be great to get that in just before Christmas and the holidays. It falls over December, so get that out of the way. I will be providing technical assistance webinar in December, and you can contact me or email me if you need any help filling out the form. Next, I want to talk to you about unobligated funds from previous funding cycles. After I got here in August, I started looking at some of the funding and looking back into files. And what I've found is that, for instance, in 2014-15, there was a large number of grant recipients who either failed to complete the project or they didn't draw down funds. In other words, they did not come to turn in their project completion report and obtain funding. 19 of the grant recipients had only partial funds requested. So it might have been a $9,000 grant, but they only asked for $3,000. This means that the projects have a large amount of unobligated funds. In the 2015-16 cycle, we have $95,213.92 of unobligated funds, and that comes from 6 grant recipients failed to complete the project or declined the grant funds and or did not draw, and they just basically did not request any funds. 15 other grant recipients had only partial drawdowns. Again, only part of their grant funds were requested. Here's the consequences of unobligated funds. The federal government, if we don't use the federal government money, the feds ask us to send it back to Washington. My philosophy is that we need to keep funds here in Texas. The second consequence is HRSA has already placed additional reporting requirements for our office. So I'm reporting quarterly reports to HRSA, and also staying in contact so that we are compliant with HRSA. The other thing that has happened is that HRSA has decreased funding to the state of Texas for the SHIP grants. This is something we want to avoid. And the way to avoid these consequences is here. You have to complete your SHIP projects. Those have to be done. You can't wait until January or February or March and use your funding. It has to be done over the time of the project. So please, I'm asking you to get to really look at this in your hospitals and make sure that you're completing those projects. As a consequence of, or as one of the issues of the unobligated funds, I did not want to have to send the unobligated funds back to Washington, and so I'm in contact with HRSA right now, and I've been asking them, or I'm asking and trying to get approval for a small little project. What I plan to do is, if HRSA will allow us to do it, is with the unobligated funds, I would like to have us purchase some of the handheld portable ultrasounds so that you all can use them. And what we will do is route them around to all the SHIP hospitals who complete their projects. We'll route them around, let you use them for a predetermined amount of time, and have a little evaluation of how was it used in your hospital. Not a lot of reporting, but let you use it, because this may be a piece of equipment that you would like to purchase with SHIP funds. This is how I'd like to use the unobligated funds. The cost to the hospital would probably be just insuring the device while it's at the hospital, but I'm working out the plans for that. If you think your hospital would like to participate or would be more interested in this project, you can contact our office. Just email and say, I would really like to participate in this. This is only example. This is a GE V-scan. It has a dual probe. It's quite expensive, but we'll see if we can get approval from HRSA from Washington. If you have any questions, please feel free to call me or email me. I will try to get back to you as quickly as I can. Again, my name is Sherry Wyatt. This is my telephone number, and this is my email, or you can email our office at our regular email for the SOAR email. I appreciate your time today. If you have any questions, please call, please email. I will try to get with you. I appreciate your time for this webinar. I will try to inform you again when we have the next one in November. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for attending. Talk to you soon.